from more than 30 witnesses over the past 2 weeks, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial in Kenosha is coming to a close. Prosecutors and defense attorneys will present their closing arguments to the jury today. And CBS 2's Mugo Dewey live in Kenosha with a look at the case and what's coming next. Mugo.
So both the defense and prosecution will have 2.5 hours for closing arguments before the case goes to the jury. Now, Rittenhouse faces 6 criminal counts, including intentional and reckless homicide. The 18-year-old is facing up to life in prison if convicted. He was 17 back in August of last year when he traveled from his home in Illinois to Kenosha during protests because of the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Rittenhouse carried a rifle that he was not legally allowed to have at the age of 17. That night, he shot and killed 2 men and injured a third, but his lawyers say he was acting in self-defense. On the other hand, prosecutors say he is responsible for the violence that night.
The only person who killed anyone was the defendant.
To note here, the prosecution is expected to ask the judge to allow the jury to consider lesser charges for some of the counts that Rittenhouse is facing. We're live in Kenosha. Mugo Dewey, CBS 2 News.
We are streaming the full closing arguments on our digital network, CBS in Chicago.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you heard that. The judge threw out the gun charge before the closing arguments. Now, this judge has been biased through this entire case. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the beginning. He showed up in Kenosha because it was a BLM protest over the Jacob Blake shooting. He thought he was going to go up there and jump in black people's faces with an AR-15. That's what this was all about. But when he got up there, things just didn't turn out the way he thought. Now, if you notice, all of these gun toters, they don't show up to protest with their weapons unless it's a BLM march. Then they all conveniently show up and they want to protect property. You ain't interested in protecting no property. You just want to get up in black people's faces with your little assault rifle toys and try to threaten somebody. If you're so interested in protecting property, where were you on the day of the insurrection? How come y'all didn't jump up to go protect property on that day? You ain't fooling no damn body with this crap. You ain't fooling nobody with that protecting property. You ain't protecting nothing. You just want to be in black people's faces, showing off your little assault rifles and making threats. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You're fooling nobody. So this judge already threw. Now, y'all tell me one trial where a black man in this country went on and a judge threw out gun charges. No, they try to make every single charge they put on black men stick. Even if it's not even appropriate, they try to make it stick. And the proof is in the pudding. All right? That's why you got all of these exonerations going on every single day in America. Because even if they falsify charges, they make those charges stick in court. This is straight up white privilege, period. So this came out on CBS Chicago, November 15th, 2021. Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Judge dismisses gun charge before closing arguments begin. White privilege. Ahead of the closing arguments and jury deliberations in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial in Kenosha, the judge dismissed an illegal gun possession charge against the teen. Yes, see, because those kind of charges will get him locked up behind bars for the rest of his life. So they're going to try to get the heaviest charges off of him. All right. Although he was the one carrying an illegal AR-15, nobody made him do it. 17 is old enough to know exactly what you're doing. I was once 17 years old, and whenever I was doing something wrong, I knew damn well what I was doing. So you can't tell me this dude did not know he was doing anything wrong. He was aware of it, but he's also aware of the privileges that he gets in this country as well. He's also aware of the fact if he gets emotional on the stand, that drums up empathy among people that look just like him. He knows how to play the game. They're all taught how to play the game, ladies and gentlemen. They're raised and taught all of these little tactics to get away with things. While only a misdemeanor charge, it appeared to be the most likely count to result in a conviction for Kyle Rittenhouse, who was only 17 when he carried an AR-15 style rifle to Kenosha on August 25th, 2020, and used it to shoot three men. Two of them he killed. One did survive. And see, he did not intend for that part to happen. You know, after all, it was a BLM march. He did not intend for that to happen. See, when you go to do evil on other people, sometimes that mess will implode on you. So the only ones that went down were the ones that looked just like him. So Schroeder, the very biased judge in this whole thing, ain't even trying to hide how biased he is, said the Wisconsin law was poorly written. Really? Well, who wrote the law? Schroeder. It sure wasn't us. Who wrote the law? And that the shorter barrel size of the rifle Rittenhouse carried meant he didn't violate the law. Listen to this garbage coming from this judge. Although prosecutors said they disagreed with the judge's interpretation of the law, they conceded Rittenhouse's weapon was not a short barrel rifle, and Schroeder dismissed the count. Yeah, he's going to sit there and do whatever he wants. But y'all, it's kind of good that you're seeing this judge in action. Trust me, he's one of many sitting on the bench, sitting there making sure his own people don't go down real hard with charges. That's the only position he's taking on the bench. Trust me, he is. I would love to go through his cases to see how many black people got convicted by the same judge and no charges were ever thrown out. I would love to see it. All right, y'all. So the closing arguments to the jury will start today. All right. So both the prosecution and the defense will have 2.5 hours to argue before the jury. So we shall see what happens after that. But you can best believe if this judge don't like the end result, he will intervene. You just watch with his old bias ass, just like having a Klansman on the bench. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.